guys, my name is Lacey of Speakless and Fat Hips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hopefully you will have already seen the part 1 to this video. So what I'm doing today is I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you guys about my makeup journey and just why I love makeup so much, how I got to the place where I am now, how YouTube is affecting my love for makeup and all of that stuff. And I did a part 1 where I talked about like the positive things, where like how makeup basically saved me and saved my self-esteem and my self-love and my self-worth, and gave me like a happy way to express myself. So that video exists. I'm going to link it down below. I'll put it in the cards. Watch that video first. Well, I mean, you don't even have to watch the video first, but watch both videos, please. Because this video is not going to be as nearly as positive as that video. Because this one is where I talk about the bad part of finding makeup and finding YouTube. When we talk about makeup addiction, and I think a lot of people have made videos talking about makeup addiction. I know Lauren Mae Beauty, who is a channel that I love and look up to, and one of the reasons that inspired me to, she's one of the people who inspired me to start my own YouTube channel. I found her through her makeup addiction video, and I related to so much of what she said in that video. I'll link it down below. But I wanted to share my own story because I think my story might resonate with a lot of people, and a lot of people can probably relate to my own story, and I do think it's a good idea to bring awareness to what I'm about to say. So as I hinted where we left off in my last video, makeup's wonderful, great, gave me a sense of self-love and expression, but I was so addicted to YouTube and I was so addicted to shopping because anything that any beauty YouTuber said or recommended or loved, I wanted to have. And I thought that I should preface this. So I mentioned in my last video I have a panic disorder and a history of depressive episodes. And I've always kind of struggled with that. And I struggled with that, one, because my family kind of didn't, and this is no shade to my family, I love my family very much. They kind of didn't accept that I had a panic disorder when I first was going through the process of needing to see a doctor, needing to be diagnosed. So I always kind of struggled with mental health things, and I wasn't really a happy kid. I wasn't a happy teenager for sure. I was very bullied. And it sucks, and I have a lot of issues to this day because of that. And I've always had an addictive personality, and I've always been looking for ways to cope. And without saying too much, but I'm sure you can use your imagination, I've had a previous addiction in my life that definitely wasn't healthy and hurt me severely and the people who love me the most severely, and that's where I'm going to leave that. And like I said, use your imagination. And I kind of got over that addiction by jumping to makeup addiction, which is not healthy, obviously. So when I first got into YouTube and I first got into makeup, I constantly just wanted the new thing. I wanted the rush of having a new thing to try out and a new thing to experiment with and a new, like, you know what I mean? It was a rush. It's that when you have an addiction to something, you're looking for the high at the end of it. You're looking for that boost that changes your mood, because I would be in a dark place and then whatever it is I'm doing gets you out of it, and you just want that moment. And that's what makeup had become for me. So there's all these great things, like I'm loving myself, I'm experimenting, I'm finding out who I am, but then it's like I'm so addicted to that feeling of like, I feel so great. How can I constantly get this feeling? When I found high-end makeup was really like the downward spiral, because for a long time I was sticking to basically the drugstore. And I was buying a lot of drugstore makeup though. I was constantly trying new things because I just wanted to always be trying new things. When I finally made my first high-end purchase, it was just downward spiral from there, because the quality difference between what I had been using and the things that I was buying was so great that I was like, now I need to replace everything. And it just like, it was so bad. I can't explain to you how bad it was. I would spend every extra dime I ever had on makeup. I, to this day, do not have a savings established because of the damage that I had done when I first got into makeup, because I would never put money away. I would just spend it on makeup. There was constantly things showing up at my house, constant boxes, to the point where my family was like, what the fuck is going on? Because I wanted that rush of getting a new thing and opening it. Like, you know when you, like, Christmas morning feeling, like the feeling of having presents and opening all the presents, but it's like presents I'm buying for myself. I was constantly asking my boyfriend to take me to the store so I could look at makeup. I was constantly watching YouTube. I just like wanted to be involved in makeup at all times. Like I would budget my entire paychecks figuring out how I could buy makeup, but also like buy the necessities I needed to buy. And I really was doing that because of that addiction part of it, of that high, of that rush, of that like momentary boost of endorphins or whatever it is. I made a list of all the things I did when my makeup addiction was at the worst. Let's see. The first thing I wrote down was I was already addicted to something else in the past. I just jumped from one to the other. So any way you word it, it just wasn't good. When a guru mentioned something, I bought it without thinking. I bought it. I was constantly like, I wrote in this, stalking the drugstore. I couldn't go anywhere without stopping at the store first to see what was out. Again, all these things don't seem that bad. But then I was like really addicted to like collecting. I wanted the whole collection of everything. I wanted to have a beauty guru's collection. And I said in my last video, I never wanted to be a beauty guru. I still don't. But I wanted like the beauty room and the life and the, like, you know what I mean? I had to have, this is what I wrote down. I had to have all the classics. So think like the Naked palettes, the chocolate bar palettes, like think any classic makeup item. I thought if I was going to be good at makeup, I had to have it. This is pricey stuff we're talking about. If a major brand released a product, I had to have it. So my brain told me that the only good brands out there were the popular brands, and that, so like, you know what I mean? So if Urban Decay released a product, I wanted it because it was Urban Decay. If Tarte released a product, I wanted it because it was Tarte. My brain correlated popularity with quality. So I was like, well, if it's a big brand, I gotta have it, because if I'm gonna be good at makeup, I gotta have the good stuff. The guru's word was law. That's what I wrote down. What I mean by that is if there was a do and don't, like if gurus are saying do this, not that, I followed that meticulously. I was like, oh, gotta be good at makeup. They know what they're talking about. I gotta do it. If they liked the product, if they were obsessed with it, I had to have it. If they had a code for it, they were telling me it's so great, I had to use it. Like, I have a room full of Morphe brushes because I was truly convinced that they were the only good quality brushes in the world. And like, I didn't understand. So anytime people were like, oh, you should understand that we make a commission, you should know how affiliate codes work, I literally did not. I'm talking to someone who was like, I really believe that everyone on YouTube had my best interest because they love makeup too. I literally did not believe it. So that's why I'm, even like, I could put like affiliate links in my own box. I always link all the makeup I wear. I always list all the makeup I wear. I don't ever link it with affiliate links because it makes me feel icky, because I didn't know how affiliations worked in the beauty YouTube world. Like I said, packages every day, multiple packages at a time. I was constantly on the internet looking for makeup releases, and like all of this, okay, all of this doesn't seem like that bad, right? But it was affecting my quality of life. And nothing is bad until it starts affecting your quality of life. Like, my direct happiness was tied to all of these things I just mentioned, to constantly buying makeup, to constantly having all the makeup, to having the big collection, to spending all of my money. That's where my happiness was. So where I talked in my last video about how it was beautiful and great, and I found myself, before I could get to that part, the happiness was a direct one-to-one relationship to how much crap I could have. That's a scary thing, that your worth as a human being, your happiness is tied into physical possessions, and you're making yourself broke in the process. And let's see, backups for no reason is another thing that I wrote down. That's why one of my things for like my goals for 2018 was to get rid of my backup drawer, because I always heard beauty gurus talking about their backup drawer, so I was like, oh, you have to have a backup drawer. I have to have a constant supply of makeup, because God help me if I didn't. Oh my God, what's gonna happen? And never panned anything is another thing I wrote on this list. The idea of now using up the makeup that I worked so hard to get freaked me out. If I use it up, I'm not going to have it anymore, and I'm not going to be happy, so I can't use up anything. That's why I like always post my Instagram the small victories of like, oh, I finally hit pan on bronzer, because it's like it took me so long to get to a place where using up makeup wasn't scary anymore, because the whole point was to buy it, have the rush of having it, but now who cares if I use it? That's fucking scary. And the last thing I wrote, which is kind of where my story turns, is like the one thing that helped me was stop shopping videos, and that kind of surge on YouTube of people feeling more comfortable to talk shit about brands, to talk, you know, to do anti-hauls. Kimberly Clark definitely helped me out a lot, and just like finding the small YouTube community of people who weren't afraid to be like, you know what, you don't fucking need this. And that's really what broke me of all of this, was seeing more realistic people. Realistic, what I mean by that is, before my entire consumption of YouTube was just big beauty gurus, finding a smaller community of real people with other jobs, with other interests, who are just doing this as a hobby, who could rationally explain to me that I don't need all this crap and that I'm not making myself actually any happier by buying all this crap, that's what broke me. That's what turned the switch back in the like in the other direction, and like woke me up out of this like sparkly makeup haze that I was in. I am always going to struggle with needing that momentary like high to get over a bad situation. Like, even I had mentioned in my last video that I just lost a coworker, and I definitely, the first thing I did was start online shopping. That's how, to this day, I still deal with stress that way. I still struggle with retail therapy. I definitely do less though, like so much less, but it's still like, even if I'm stressed over school or something, I'm still definitely going to be more likely to buy that day. And I got to, like, actually, I had a friend notice it recently, actually. They messaged me and was like, I saw you're buying a lot of stuff lately. Are you okay? And I hadn't even told them any of this. And I said, like, thank you for even noticing and asking. Because it's definitely something I still struggle with. And I'm not saying that if you see me hauling in the future to like panic and like freak out, because I'm definitely a lot better. I definitely have much healthier outlets now. I have a much healthier support system in my life. I've had very toxic friends for the majority of my life. I think now having more positive friends and being in a more positive place in my life and a more positive, you know, social circle definitely helps. Having open communication with doctors and with counseling helps a lot. And I do go to the doctor for various mental things that I deal with my panic, my depression. At one point at school, I was seeing 2 different counselors. That made a huge difference for me too. So it really, like, longest story short, I had jumped from one terrible outlet for my pain and my sadness to another, one that I was perceiving as positive and not harmful at the time, but that really was harmful to me, and I still kind of have to deal with to this day, because I still have to deal with the stuff that I've accumulated, the money that I don't have that maybe I would have if I didn't buy all the crap, and like the stress that it probably put on my partner for him having to deal with me being a crazy person and wanting makeup all the damn time, and like, it wasn't healthy. You don't need stuff to be happy, and I feel like that might seem ironic coming from me, because I definitely do still shop a lot, but I like to consider myself to be, and it might not seem that way to you, and that's fine, I feel like I'm in a happy medium, because I see on YouTube all these communities of people who are minimalists and panners and like project panners and like really preaching against makeup, and I think that that definitely stems from a movement of people being like, you need everything, you gotta buy everything, buy, consumerism. I never wanted to be the extreme of both, because I think making yourself miserable in either direction is still misery in the end. So what I mean by that is, if I'm miserable, which I was because I needed to have everything, and if I couldn't get it, it was making me miserable, forcing myself to use up my products and not allowing me to buy anything else until I use the thing up, and like meticulously cataloging my collection and not allowing me to experience happiness in the other direction either. Like, I don't want makeup to be my sad place. I don't want it to be something that stresses me out in either way, where I can't have too much of it but I also can't let myself enjoy it at all. It's like being on a bad diet, you know what I mean? Instead of, like, the thing with diets, and again, probably I should not be the person talking about dieting to you because fat hips, but the whole thing with diets is that you don't want to diet, you want to change your lifestyle. You want to change your way of thinking so you can like treat yourself for once in a while but overall be healthier. That's kind of how I went about makeup, was like, I do still love it, I do still want to have a large collection, but I want to buy the things that make me happy. I don't want to feel scared to use things up anymore. I don't want to feel shame and embarrassment because boxes are showing up at my house every day. I don't want to give up buying food for myself because I had to have the newest popular thing that was out, which is definitely something that I had done before, more than once. I don't want to be so afraid of makeup that I can't allow myself to enjoy it, but I don't want to be so obsessed with it that I can't enjoy life outside of it. That's kind of how I like to run this channel. I like to be the happy medium. I want to review products for you guys and say, like, is this dupable? Do you need this? Is this going to improve your collection anyway? or, you know, remind us that maybe we don't need that new thing that's coming out lately, that it's not that different, that what else do we have that we can look at. That's kind of where, like, the palette series on the one hand is showing you a crap ton of palettes. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I have a lot of makeup. On the other hand, I'm trying to focus on these already exist in my collection. Let's talk about why they're awesome. Maybe you have them too. And I don't know. View that as you will. I'm probably not the most helpful channel if you're trying to stop shopping. There's definitely other channels. And I didn't mean before to shit on people who are minimalists and project panners. I just think that being militant on one side and making yourself miserable, because I can't count the number of fucking panning videos I've seen where people are like, day 174, I fucking hate this bronzer, but I gotta use it up now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be miserable on either end. And if you're trying to curb your own makeup addiction, maybe those channels are going to help you. But if you're like me and you want to have this healthy relationship with makeup, you want to still buy yourself something that makes you happy, but maybe not go broke over it, or maybe not, you know, prioritize it over your fucking bills, or supplement genuine help and medicine and therapy for your issues through makeup. Like, you can just have makeup and like makeup and wear it. It doesn't have to be the extreme on either end. You don't have to make yourself sick for wanting the new makeup. You don't have to make yourself sick for having too much makeup. I don't know if any of that makes sense. But I will say also, as a final point, it did take me a while to get where I am now, where I do feel like, for the most part, my relationship with makeup is healthy. Yeah, I'm still a little obsessive, but it does make me happy. I do like the community that I've found with it. That's another thing. When I first started YouTube, it jolted me a little bit. And it jolted me in different ways because, one, I didn't expect to get the success that I got, and that I am very grateful for it, but I didn't expect to get the success that I got in my YouTube channel anywhere near as fast as I got it, if at all. So I had to deal with a lot of things, but one of the things I had to deal with when I first started YouTube was not allowing myself to use YouTube as an excuse to fall back where I was. So I think for a split second it was like, oh, I can justify a lot of these purchases because I can make YouTube videos about them. That's something that I'm still working on now. And I'm trying every day to get better. And there's always gonna, like I said, there's always gonna be that part of me that has an addictive personality. There's always gonna be that part of me that's looking for a coping mechanism. It's just a matter of taking every day one step at a time and learning what else I can do that's more positive. And a while ago I did a video that was like intro to self-love series, and it was going to be a more dedicated series where I talk about things like finding self-esteem, finding coping mechanisms, surrounding yourself with more positive people, but it didn't get a lot of views or a lot of like attention. So I kind of just dropped it because I figured people didn't want it. If that is something that you want, that you feel like will help you with these issues like makeup addiction, please let me know, because I will definitely start it back up again, even if it just helps one person. But the moral of this story, if there is a moral, and I've said this in past videos, do what feels right for you, have the makeup collection that feels right for you, and make sure that when you can step outside of it and look at your relationship with makeup or anything else in the world, can you say 100% that's a healthy relationship, that you're not doing it for any other reason other than you like it, it makes you happy? Because I definitely was using makeup for things beyond that. And in a weird way, while YouTube started the problem, it also kind of saved me from it in the same breath. So that's that. So yeah, that's my makeup story. That's where I am now, and every day at a time, man. Every day at a time. Talk to me down below. Let's try to keep it positive, but if you want to talk about your struggles and stuff, definitely comment down below, because I think one of the things I love to see is when you guys answer each other's comments and like create like a nice community, because I really do think that I've created a good community here on YouTube, and I want to see that continue. So yeah, talk to me down below about your relationship with makeup, how you feel about all this. Definitely be there for each other and help each other down below, because yeah, like anyone who's outside the makeup community can look at this and be like, this is all fucking stupid and you have problems. That's literally the point. I had problems and I was channeling it through this community, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. So if I can help, if anybody else can help, we should. If you like this video, if you like the subject, if you like more serious videos, if you like me, hit like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram so you can see me on social media when I'm not posting on YouTube. And that's all I got. I will see you guys in my next YouTube video. Bye guys.